Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully you're having a good week. Hope you had a great 4th of July. It was a great one here in southern Michigan. I took the week off. I've still got 2 days left, or at least today and tomorrow off, and coming to you from my parents' place down in southern Michigan. Just got off the golf course. So it's going to be kind of a shorter episode just because I'm hanging out, about to go down to the beach and go swimming, play in the sand with my daughter, and just enjoy the rest of the couple days I still have here. I apologize about the background noise. I came out here to the backyard, and it was perfectly silent. Everything was great, and then I came out here now, and people are mowing lawns or something. So I apologize about there might be a little hum in the background, but before we get into it today, I just want to let you know, this episode brought to you by Titleist and their fitting. Nothing will do more to improve your driver performance than getting fit by an authorized Titleist fitting specialist. With outstanding featured shafts and new premium partnership with Graphite Design, we have all the tools to get your game dialed. Visit Titleist.com to learn more about TSI drivers and to schedule your fitting today. So, check out Titleist.com. You know, like I said, I did the wedge fitting with my Vokey SM8s. Last year? I went and did that. It was pretty cool. I didn't do the driver's side yet, but I've heard it's if it's anything like the wedge part, it's pretty awesome. So, yeah, I just got off the golf course playing. I know this podcast is going out late, but we teed off early. Didn't have time to record before, and like I said, I'm kind of on vacation this week, so I didn't record last night just because I was kind of hanging out. And we're going down, gonna head down to the beach and hang out in the water. It's nice here in southern Michigan. I think it's like mid to upper 70s. It was 80-something, even in the 90s earlier this week, so it's just been an awesome week. A little bit of rain the past 2 nights, but for the most part it's been at night, so we've been able to get out and do some stuff. And like I said, I apologize about the background noise. I thought I had everything timed perfectly. I walked out of the backyard. It was dead silent. It was like great, and now there's the landscaping crew cutting grass now, so I can't... I'm trying my best. I don't really have a spot inside. We have family and stuff inside the house, so there's really not a place for me to go there. And it's just I'm going to do what I can with what I've got. So I apologize in advance if this is not the most amazing audio quality in terms of a podcast. It just some things are a little out of my control. Some things, I guess I could have recorded this earlier, but I wanted to get some time in with the Vokey 60T grind that I think a lot of you are interested in, and have been the past 2 rounds kind of playing a little bit of both the Vokey 60T grind and the new Callaway Jaws Raw 68 or 60 Z grind. So 2 brand new, one brand new grind. One's a Vokey that is kind of their special edition. I think it's not always on shelves or anything like that. I think you can only get it through Wedgeworks. But yeah, I went out and played today. I played in my league on Thursday last week. Played Sunday and then played today. So I've got a handful of rounds in, and it's been good. I have not played amazing. I played pretty good on Thursday. We did our little scramble for our league. We do like 2 scrambles a year where we go out and everybody throws a couple bucks in the pot. Winning team takes most of it, and then it's just a good time. So went out, did that. We did our 4-man scramble. It was myself, my brother, 2 other guys in the league. We actually ended up winning it at 5 under, and really it was because of a couple drives. Like my brother drove the green on 2, and actually on 1 we scrambled like crazy. We did not have a good drive. Everybody hit theirs into the woods. We hit it from the woods on the left over to the tee box on 2 on the right of the green, and thankfully had kind of an open shot. And Tom and my brother Craig both hit shots to like 4 feet. We made the putt, walked away with par, and that was kind of the saving grace for our round, really. And then after that, on 2, which is a really short par 4, my brother drove the green, so we had an eagle putt. One of the guys just missed it. And we went on from there and ended up being 5 under, which was good enough to win, which I know to a lot of people that's not a crazy low number or anything, but we were 5. There were 2 teams at 4, 2 teams at 2, and it was a fun night. So I hit a couple drives that were really good. One of them, if you ever play St. Clair Shores, is a short. The 4th hole is this short par 4, but there's a big pond to the right that kind of covers the green. And it's at like 230 or 220 or something like that is where it comes into play, depending on the tees. And usually I just hit a 4-iron there, lay up. And our one guy on our team, Tom, bombed a drive right down the middle. And we had what would have been an extremely short wedge in. And then my brother tried to go for the green, kind of snap hooked it. I tried to take it over the water, over the trees. Absolutely nuked the drive, and we walked up there and couldn't find the ball. So we thought, well, maybe it hit the bank, fell back in, whatever. And then walking across the green, one of the guys noticed that it was just over the green, sitting in the rough. So had an easy chip down the hill, made birdie, and it was like I said, just some shots like that saved us. We totally screwed up on the par 5. We had like 208 yards in to the green on a par 5, and none of us came close to the green. Our best shot was our safe layup shot that we had like 50 yards, and then I think from there, the putt we took was 20 feet, and I don't think we had anything closer or better. And it was rough. So we made par on a par 5, but we made a bunch of other birdies, and then it was a good time. We had fun. And like I said, won a couple bucks, so was able to pay for my a beverage or two after the round, but had a good time there. And driver-wise, what I nuked over the water, I actually put I have a Tensei 1K, a Tensei Pro White 1K. I can never. It's just like the name of that thing is so long, but the 1K White, and it had the Club Connects adapter on it, but I noticed that sitting in the rack, it was a little long. So I measured it up, and it's just like a 1/4 inch short of where it needs to be, but it is tipped 3/4 of an inch, so it's definitely stout. But put a all-fit adapter on it and put it in the driver, so it's like 44 1/4. It's pretty short, but actually been hitting some absolute bombs with it. So I put that in the Stealth Plus head. So really low spin. I set it actually to 1 click higher, so instead of 10.5, it's like 11.2. I set it to 0.75 higher on the all-fit adapter, and then hitting balls there, just hitting some absolute bombs with it. So hit some huge drives with that thing there, and actually hit it pretty well. Hit pretty solid, but like I said, we played pretty decent. It was fun, and then came down here, and all this week, like I said, I played Sunday, I played today. I'm going to play again on Saturday. So getting a few rounds in here. Not finding the driver magic down here. It's just been kind of a struggle. I've just not got off the tee well, and then like today, I just cannot hit an iron shot to save my life. So everything was just clanked off the toe, and either short of the green, or then when I actually started hitting it flush, I was so worried about hitting the left that I wasn't releasing the club and just smashing everything far right. Just wasn't an amazing day today. So 2 days of lackluster scoring with a few decent shots peppered in there, but overall, not a whole lot going on for your boy in terms of his game, and that's a little discerning just because I play in our kind of guys outing in basically a month, and it's gonna be rough. I'll tell you that. If I play the way I'm playing today, I'm not gonna win too many points. I'm gonna get handled pretty easily by most of the guys in this thing. So I'm not looking forward to that in a sense, just because I've played so poorly. But what are you going to do? But anyway, I took out, or I've had out the past couple weeks. I've been rotating in and out 2 different 60-degree wedges. One of which I talked about, I think, either last week or the week before, which was the Callaway Jaws Raw, the new Jaws Raw in the 60-degree and the Z grind. So that's their new kind of, I think they call it kind of a triple angled sole. It's got trailing edge relief, some toe relief, some heel relief. The leading edge is a little beveled there, and then, the widest part of the sole. So 8 degrees of bounce is what's labeled on it. But, Callaway calls it a kind of a shot maker's grind. It's meant to be pretty versatile. Do whatever you need to do with it. And it has been really good. Actually, much better than I thought. I was not going to be too impressed with 8 degrees of bounce. So far, it's been pretty good. And like I said before on this wedge, this one here, Z grind, it's got the raw face, so the grooves here don't have any like chrome plating, anything like that. The black version does have some type of black finish on it, but because it doesn't rust, I tried making it rust. It doesn't do that. It's got tungsten plugs out in the toe, adjustable hosels to keep the center of gravity correct. All that stuff packed into this wedge, but been hitting this a good amount, and then also. The one that I think a lot of people were wondering about as well, because I think I put a picture of it on there, the 60 T grind. So the T grind from Callaway Wedgeworks, which I know they've done the tee a handful of times, which is basically kind of a big C grind, but it's low bounce, a lot of trailing edge relief, really aggressive. And basically when you open, and basically it's meant to, if you open the face up, the leading edge doesn't come off the ground so much. So if you play it square, you've got some bounce. If you open it up, the leading edge doesn't come crazy high off the ground. And for tight lies and things like that, it's supposed to be great for us. So had both these out, had them both in the bag today, had them both in the bag Saturday or last week Sunday, and then I had which one did I have? I then had the Z grind in my bag for the scramble. So I played, like I said, a little bit of both, kind of hitting them side by side. But talking about the 60T grind, basically it doesn't anywhere on it say SM9. It basically says Vokey, or just says Wedgeworks under the BV initials and wings, and then out on the toe 60T grind. So it has no bounce number or anything like that. But it is something that you can get online. I believe it's only through Wedgeworks. I don't know if they actually sell these in store. To be 100% honest, I don't know. They might. But the same, same mill grooves, all that. Just like I said, a little different grind, a little different shape. I do have to say that there is a good amount of mass up high on the toe to keep that center of gravity centered, and then the hosel in this one a little longer as well. But overall, the shape is really good. It seems a little more rounded than some of the SM9 stuff before. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which like a few people do, the leading edge is pretty straight. It's got a little radius to it. Doesn't really have any offset in any means. It almost kind of has slightly a bit of onset with the way the leading edge is just slightly curved. But very clean look. To me, it's a little more rounded than I think the rest of the SM8 line was. And even the SM9s, I feel like, have just a slightly sharper kind of toe to them in a way. This one here, a little more soft, a little more round to my eyes. But again, that's me, and I know everybody's going to look at their wedge slightly different and consider what's round, what's not. But overall, I really like the shape. I like a little rounder wedge. I don't need it crazy squared off, but it's a good-looking wedge to my eye. I think it blends well with the rest of the SM9s if you're somebody who's playing SM9s already, or even SM8s, because I have kind of a mix. I'm playing SM8 in my 50, and then I have an SM9 54. Bent to 55, and then I've got this Wedgeworks 60. So those in the bag, there's not a huge difference in terms of shape. Everything blends really well together, and I like that this thing has a pretty compact look to it. It's not crazy compact, it's not crazy small, but it doesn't look huge either. I know some 60 degrees and stuff like that, the designs, when you see more face, some of them look really big. This one definitely doesn't have that. Feel is extremely soft, much like the SM9s that are out there currently. I think definitely softer than the SM8s. This one here, definitely soft, especially when you hit it in the center of the face. It is like hitting kind of it is like hitting a forged wedge. I mean, it's just that soft. You just get like a nice solid thud when you catch the ball cleanly. And hitting full shots, I think it feels great. Not that I've done on the range. I don't really hit full shots with this club. But the overall feel of it's really good. You will get a little more vibration when you do catch it out on the toe, catch it thin, which I've unfortunately done a good amount, or even catch it a little higher on the face. You could definitely feel a little more vibration, a little more click to it. But that's all, I think, part of the responsiveness. You'll get into that responsiveness where you'll get some of that feedback, whether it's through your hands, through your ears, that you didn't strike it in the center, that you didn't hit an extremely solid shot. But when you do strike at center, it does feel really, really good. The spin on this, with the Vokey grooves on it, off tight lies, out of the fairway, things like that. Spin is phenomenal. It's balls just check up right away. Everything you hit, you better, if you're playing little pitch shots or chip shots, you better fly it a decent way to the hole, because it is going to check up pretty hard. Out of the rough, it's very predictable. You'll get a little more release out of there. But with any wedge, if you hit it off a fairway compared to the rough, definitely there'll be some release. But whether it's super, super long and nasty grass, or it's just kind of plush and soft, you definitely still get the predictability out of it that you would think. So if you're thinking that hey, it's going to release X far from this lie, this shot, it's probably going to release that much, and it's going to do that pretty much every time. It's extremely consistent, and like I said, the spin on it is pretty good, pretty darn good. The grind on it, like I said, it doesn't have an exact number in terms of, what the actual bounce is, but it's low. I mean, it's not crazy high, but it's also not horrible. Like, if I had to guess, I would guess it's probably in that 8-degree range, something like that. The bounce is definitely pushed a little bit more forward on the sole than, say, the D grind or M grind. I mean, those there, the end of the bounce at the lowest point on the sole is definitely pushed further back. This one, like I said, pushed definitely forward. It's supposed to be so you can hit a variety of different shots and definitely play the face more open, again, without that leading edge going too high. The V-grind on full shots, or square shots, I'll call them, because I don't hit it full, but on square shots is pretty good. I mean, if it's soft, like today was pretty soft. It rained for the past 2 nights. The one little par 3 course, which is here near the house, had, it's got a big low kind of valley in it, and that had a ton of water. They were pumping out. And then, when we were playing today, there were definitely some pretty soft spots all around the course, which you'd expect from, we got inches of rain. The lake went up like 5 inches from 2 days ago till now. It's like, you can tell because on the dock, on the stairs, it went up like a full stair almost. So we got a ton of rain. And honestly, full shots are pretty decent. I mean, it's low bounce. So if you decide, if you get in on it pretty good, you're definitely going to take a decent divot. The leading edge is fairly sharp. I mean, I wouldn't consider it knife sharp. I've seen some stuff that's a little sharper, but these here, not a horrible leading edge, but it's fairly sharp. And it'll get under the ball with no problem. And then, now we got a weed whipper going. So I'm really running into some amazing things here. All right, so we're just going to try to muscle through it. I stopped the video or the recording, tried to see if I could wait for these guys to finish doing their stuff, but it doesn't look like they're going to be stopping anytime soon. So, again, apologize about the extra noise. But anyway, I was saying about the leading edge. I mean, it's sharp. Like, if you're going to get steep and come down on the ball in a fairly soft condition, I mean, you're going to take a decent divot. So you better hit ball first before – you better hit ball first. Or else you're just not going to go anywhere. I mean, the ball's just going to, kind of pop up in the air, fall out of the sky. You're just not going to see any performance. I mean, I feel like this tee grind, if you're not playing in really firm conditions or you don't have a really shallow kind of angle of attack into the ball, you got to be pretty precise with it. You've definitely got to, hit the ball first. You definitely can't be just a little behind it or anything like that. Like, I feel like kind of that D grind you can kind of get away with a little bit if you're a smidge late on getting the club to the ball. That little extra bounce kind of will give you a little bit of forgiveness, and this just doesn't quite have that amount of forgiveness. But squared shots, shots playing with the club square to the target, you're not opening the face, anything like that. Played decent. It's a low bounce wedge, so if you're going to be out there in some firm conditions, I think you're going to be just fine. If it's something where you're playing super soft, like I said, you're definitely going to have to make sure and, ensure that you're a little more shallow, ensure that, like I said, you're delivering the club to the ball. But, squared face shots play actually a little better than I thought. I thought for sure I'd be running into some problems, digging some ditches. And like I said, as long as I was kind of conscious of where I was bringing the club from and not trying to hit down on it super hard or anything like that, it actually performed pretty well. And out here, there's a couple sections of the rough that actually were a little firmer, that had dried out a touch, and hitting it off those, the club had a really good feel as it basically hit the turf. You could feel the bounce kind of move the club, kind of through that turf as it hit, and then into the ball and up and out. And it had kind of a really good feel. It got through the turf really quickly, really smoothly. There was really no, kind of excess friction that felt like it slowed the club down or anything like that. And then when you open the face, it was super easy to open the face. And like I said, that leading edge stayed pretty much right on the ground. I mean, you can easily get under the ball, easily get underneath it, get that ball up in the air. Flop shots or open face shots, high lofted shots are extremely easy to hit with this thing, which I think the biggest part of this wedge is being able to hit those shots. And it is really easy to do. I mean, I had unfortunately a couple shots today where I was pin high on, say, a par 3, had to open the face, get it up over a bunker, short-sided, and I kind of did it with ease. And really I was kind of shocked, that I played as well as I did with the tee grind, just because I usually, as you guys know, I'm steep. I tend to play a higher bounce wedge, and to find some success with this thing was pretty impressive. I was pretty happy to see that. And like I said, today there were at least 2 times when I was, like I said, short-sided, had a bunker, didn't have a ton of green, was able to kind of, get it up and all, and, one of them I made, up and down, got it close, made the putt. The other time I just missed. So those type of shots here with this wedge, super easy to hit. Definitely much easier than, say, D-grind. And I'd say almost a little, oh boy, I'm losing my camera. It's falling down here. I'm just falling apart here today on my podcast. This is easily going to be the worst podcast that I've probably ever done in terms of video and image quality, but what can you do? But yeah, this thing here, like I said, the open face stuff is really good. Like I said, we didn't have crazy firm or crazy tight lies. The fairways here were just a touch hairy, just because it's rained for 2 days and you can't get out and cut them because machines are going to sink and leave ruts and all that. But off the fairways there, really easy to hit those shots, and a couple firm, rough positions were also really easy. The one thing I do have to say is, out of really heavy rough, if the ball's sitting up, you do have to be kind of aware of where the club head is, because I've had more than a couple, one, especially the first few that I had in that position, tried to open the face a little, kind of hit something high and soft, and caught it really high in the face, and it just, it doesn't really go anywhere. Basically barely got it on the green, and had a long putt. So there was stuff like that where you do have to be wary of this sole in that condition, or just because as you open it up, there's just nothing there. It's like, super, almost call it like super aerodynamic. It's kind of like getting tucked, and there's just nothing there. And like I said, if your ball's sitting up kind of in certain roughs and certain grasses, I think it's very easy to kind of slide under the ball and, kind of miss it in a sense, or catch it really high in the face. But overall, it gets through the rough really well. Gets on the fairway, super easy to hit. Open up the face is actually kind of fun. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easier to do, but it does give you a level of confidence opening up the face that I haven't had with a lot of other grinds that have been so playable. Out of the traps, it's decent. I will say, when you open it up, there is some loft there. When you play it square and then you open it up, you can see that the sole does come down a little bit. You do get the front part of that bounce that's there when it's open. And it floats pretty well. I mean, I think in crazy fluffy sand, again, you're probably going to have to be pretty precise. If you're playing those like powdery white sands, like kind of some courses in Florida and things like that have, you might have to be a little careful if you're steep with your bunker shots, or you're just going to have to be a little more precise and make sure that you get in and basically get the club entered into the sand at the exact right spot in order to hit the shot you're looking to hit. Up here, the sand's a little firmer. We actually do have, it seems like a decent amount of new sand at St. Clair Shores and here down at Bella Vista. And both those, this thing floated through really well. Again, it's a little heavier sand. It's not as fluffy. It's not as light. When it's a little wet out there as well, it's even a little more compact. And all those things actually work really well with this wedge. If you play kind of a denser, heavier sand, it like I said, it's the same thing. It kind of hits. You get that thud as the club enters. Ball pops out, and the club just wants to kind of slide through, and there's really, again, no extra friction or anything like that kind of get in the way of the club head getting through that kind of turf. So overall, the playability on it is really good. Open faced is just kind of what it's designed to do. So when the face is open, like I said, the leading edge doesn't come up, and it's just made for those type of shots. And again, it's just made for precision shots, and I'm someone who is far away from being a precision wedge player, but I was able to play this wedge really well, and I do have to say it was, made a couple shots easier. A few other shots, like I said, the bunker shots made you take a little more care, a little more notice, and make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get that ball out. But I even had one that was a total fried egg, and had no problem getting this thing down under the ball, getting it popped out. Ran a little long, but again, got the ball out. It was on the green. And like I said, just a very versatile wedge. If you're somebody who really likes to manipulate the face, play different shots, especially open face shots, play a lot of high flight, high lofted, soft shots, I think the T-grind's a great option. If you're somebody who's pretty shallow in terms of your angle of attack, plays really firm conditions, I think it works really well there. But I think if you're average to shallow, you'll be just fine. I mean, the super steep players, those are the ones you're going to run into the little issue on how well it plays for them. Surprisingly, like I said, it played better than I thought for me. But everybody, is going to have their own kind of experiences. And again, the look and everything is really good. Now, compared to the Z grind from Callaway, both kind of have similar kind of pros and cons. I think, starting with kind of sand shots, I think the Z grind, it definitely has a little wider sole. When you open it up, there's even more sole that is basically, or effective bounce as you open the face up, and it floats through the sand even better. Again, if you're playing really fluffy sand, I think the Z grind is going to win out there in terms of float. It's just not going to dig as easily or dig as much. On super tight lies, the T grind is going to have a little more versatility, or not. That leading edge is going to come up off the ground. I did notice a little bit, if off maybe a fairway lie, if you try to open the face of the T or the Z grind, it is going to come off. The leading edge is going to come up just a little bit, and you'll definitely have to make sure that you get down under the ball a little more with the Z as compared to the T. Overall, though, I mean, they're both really playable. The kind of the beveled leading edge is kind of nice. The Z grind does dig just a little bit less than the T grind. So between those two, if you're playing off the same soft kind of fairway condition, the Z grind is going to dig a little less. It's going to be a little more forgiving there. Give maybe a little bit better turf interaction through those conditions. And then out of the, in terms of spin, I think on fairway lies, they both spin the ball like crazy. You're going to have kind of that drop and stop, type of shot. You're not going to get a ton of roll, ton of bounce, or a ton of release off those tight lies. Out of the rough, I'll give a slight advantage to the Callaway. I think it's got a slightly bigger, deeper groove, and I think it does bite just a little bit harder out of the rough. Nothing crazy, but I think in terms of release out of those type shots, the Callaway, in my opinion, spins just a little bit more out of those wet, rough conditions where you do get a little more moisture and grass between the ball and the groove. I think it moves that away just a little bit more. Out of the sand, again, I'll probably give the spin, nod to Callaway a little bit there. I think they do, again, check up just a little bit harder. I think those bigger grooves move some of that sand away from between the ball and the face. In terms of feel, I give the nod to the T grind, the Vokey. It's a little bit softer on dead center shots. The Jaws Raw feels good. I mean, it really does, but it's just got a touch more click to it than the Vokey does when you're striking stuff dead center on the face. So, like I said, I'll give the slightly feel to Vokey there. And then in terms of the looks, I mean, that's going to be up to you. I like I said in my past podcast, I really like the look of the Callaway. I think they really improved from hosel leading edge. That transition is definitely much better. The Vokey is just a little bit more rounded than the Jaws Raw. So if you like a little more edgy, a little more squared off toe, the Jaws may fit your eye a little better. If you like something a little more rounded like I do, I would say the Wedgeworks probably fits your eye a little bit better. But in terms of versatility, in terms of soles and being able to hit different shots, I think it really just depends. I mean, if you're going to play stuff high, I kind of like the Vokey. If you're somebody who kind of plays a plethora of stuff, likes to hit it low, likes to hit some flat penetrating shots, the Callaway might work a little better there just because of the slightly wider sole and that beveled leading edge. So, in terms of which one's best, it probably depends on your game and which kind of shots you like to hit. But either one, both brand new for this year. Well, I guess the T-Grand's not really brand new, but both brand new wedges, I think are absolutely phenomenal. I think they're both great options, and it's just going to depend on what you hit the best. And now we're going full-fledged with yard work right now. I mean, we're just going edgers, we're going mowers, we're doing it all. But so anyway, like I said, Jaws Raw, really versatile, hit a lot of shots. The Vokey Wedgeworks, the T-Grind, 60 T-Grind, great grind for if you want to hit stuff high, get it up in the air. Like I said, it's kind of that precision shot maker for both these wedges. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're somebody who likes to shape stuff and control trajectories and things like that, I think both these you're going to have a great experience with. So go to your local retailer, check them both out. Well, actually, I don't know if you can check out the T-Grind from your local retailer, but both worth checking out. Both great wedges. And I don't know which one's making the bag yet. Right now, if I had to pick and you said you don't have a choice, you have to pick one of them, I think the T-Grind goes in right now. Just the way I play a 60, my 60 is really just a club to get, hit stuff short-sided. If I need to go high and I need to go over things and stop it quickly, that's my 60. I don't play, lower lofted spinning shots with my 60 degrees. So for me, I'd probably go the T-Grind, but again, like I said, the Z grind, I've had some fun hitting shots with this as well. So I know this episode is short. It's all I've got. I know it's short. I know there's probably a ton of audio where you're like, this guy is just standing in the middle of a, next to a lawnmower, and I think I am. I think it's just behind these bushes. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. I know it's a super short episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions, anything like that, at Club Junkie Pod. I know I didn't do my Q&A this week, but hey, man, I'm on vacation, so I'm not going to do that. And then, I'll get back to the normal, kind of normal program next week, and we'll get back to doing Q&A, full-blown show, all that jazz. So, again, hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy it. Maybe go get your blonde cut like these guys, and I'll talk to you next week.